Hello, good evening. How are you all doing today? And happy Friday. Steven, hello. You didn't know my last name was Builds? Yeah, of course it is. It's a very it's a show name, right? I changed my name for show. So let's see. Also, hello Steven, how are you doing today? How was your Friday? We are We verified the lesson this morning. So we actually moved this to, I think, 3 recording. And we only have one thing in here. You're doing better. You were sick for 7 days, but you feel good now. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. All right, so we'll be recording a video for CRUD with SQLx. So we'll go over the different queries there are, the query methods, which ones we want to use. We'll connect to the database, and then we'll do some CRUD. Okay, so I'm going to move that over there. I guess like before that, let's there, save that. We're good. I want to. What do I want to do for this? Let's do. Let's open you up. I don't think I need you open anymore because are we gonna install stuff? Probably not. Okay, so we're gonna do a cargo temp. So we need Tokyo. Oh, I guess we'll just do a cargo temp. Oh, my ZSH update. Not for now. Okay. You might go to Blackhawk this weekend. Are they open? Blackhawk is skiing stuff, right? Or wait, no, that's. Oh, wait, I'm getting the different locations confused. Casino. I've never been to Blackhawk. I've heard it's fun, but I've never been to any of those casinos. I've the only casinos I've ever been to is in Las Vegas, but I'm not really a big gambler. And then oftentimes they have so much smoking in there that it just like bothers my throat. They've got a good buffet. Okay, I'll add it into my to-do list to like someday go visit Blackhawk. Here, I'll shoot. Let me add this down here inside. Coding Garden with a raid. Welcome Coding Garden. Welcome raiders. Hello Cheddar. Hello Coding Garden itself. CJ, I assume. Hello Alka. Got a raid and run. Well, thanks for the raid. Hope that you had a good game night. Sorry I couldn't join for that one. But everybody else, how was the games? I heard it was like a lot of Jackbox and other stuff. You played Drawful and some trivia games. Oh, that sounds fun. Oh, and you had a good crowd. Well, 31 people sounds pretty good. Uh, Okay. I got that suggestion down. Okay, so we are just beginning, everybody. We are working on a tutorial for SQLx and Postgres. So this is in Rust. I know that a lot of you coming from Coding Garden are more in the JavaScript band, but out of curiosity, are any of you interested in or program currently in Rust? Either it doesn't have to be professionally; it could just be dabbling. That's perfectly fine too. Unreal Realities, hello. How is Zilby this evening? Have I heard of PL Rust to write functions for Postgres? I think somebody once told me about PL Rust, and I took a look into it, but I haven't done anything with it. I haven't really done much with functions in Postgres. Like every time I played with them in the past, it usually burns me. Um, but I think that's mostly because like it's tough to debug and like play with. Maybe Pale Rust would be make that a lot easier. I don't know. So I've heard of it, but I have not played with it. Azilby is really good. He did not want to come down and join us today, mainly because my wife is going to try to let him hang out outside today. So we got a harness, we got a leash, and that is the only way he's allowed outside now. Because otherwise he will attempt to like go jump the fence and explore around, and we can't let that happen. So if he's gonna hang out near the door, and then eventually she'll get the harness on him, put a leash on him, and then he'll usually wander around, roll around outside, have a lot of fun. Sometimes try to catch bugs and bring them inside, which sucks. Um, Usually leaves them alive, but sometimes accidentally kills them. Oh, you've had plenty of dead birds brought inside. We have not had that yet. We supervise his time outside, so he does not get the ability to kill any birds, which is that's good. But we've had several grasshoppers. I've had one of those stick bugs, the long like stick bug things. Um, I've had one of the things that look like a leaf. Uh, and he might have brought in a big spider once. I can't remember anymore. Or if maybe he just found it already inside. But those are he brings them inside and he just sort of like releases them and then like stares at them, and when they're like too scared to move, he like taps them with his paw to get them to scurry around. He likes to just watch things inside the house. It's kind of funny, but also to them probably terrifying. All right, so we installed Tokyo. What else do we need? We need cargo add. We need error. We need cargo add SQLx with Postgres and a Tokyo runtime. I think that's all we need for this. Oh, and we need to verify that Docker is still running, so we're good to go there. Let's go in and drop our database, because part of this is going to be creating the, sorry, not the database. Part of this is going to be connecting to and dropping the table. Banzi, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, so that's gone. You're happy to see me dedicating more time to this? I know, I'm happy for that too. I'm gonna experiment a little bit with a different time schedule next week. Might buy me like maybe 1 more hour per day to this. While also like giving me a little bit like make it a little bit easier for me to like have some relaxed time. I'm sort of like experimenting with the schedule a little bit. So that'll be fun. All right, so let's quit out of that. We're gonna start here. We have, okay, let's actually get our connection going. Oh, we need our .env. And also just because to make sure that it's like obvious, let's add in our .env here. But this is going to be our database URL. No, it's going to be, okay, so it's Postgres, keyboard cat, at localhost 2 slash, what do we call it? Pika, hello. How are you doing today? This is SQLx tutorial. Okay. Nope. No colon W. All right. So then in main, should be able to. Oh, I guess not here. We're going to load that up here. So we're going to do a. Oh, we need .env. So today during my day job, I was writing a script and I was able to start it off with a brand new node file, and got to play around with that new like don't need .env to load a .env file. It's surprisingly easy. It works really well. I like it. It did surprise me a little bit that you have to do it with a little flag at the beginning, like an argument when you pull up node, but it basically means you can choose different env files to load up for different environments, which is actually really nice. Use crypto random UUID and it was awesome. I haven't needed to do those. They're definitely adding in a lot of new cool things. Okay, what do I need? Oh, right now I need cargo add .env. So we're going to do .env, expect error loading .env. Okay, and then we need to load up the database URL. So we'll do standard, standard env var database URL. And then we'll just expect that. No, I did the thing again. Okay, so that gives me that. We are full screened. Let's see, what else do we need to do? Oh, we need to get the pool. Let's see, so new, we want max connections 5. Stacking, hello. We should have a counter for the number of times we do that. We should. How would we do that where you can like count that in chat and then have it like show up on screen? Like where you count it in chat and it shows up on my screen. Is there like a Twitch plugin for that? Let's see, acquired. Okay, then we do a connect, database URL. There's always a, well, if you find a plugin for it, I'll be happy to try it out, and then it'll allow you to all like yell at me and let me know like, oh, you did the thing. Wait, and then expect error connecting to database. I literally almost just did it again. Nightbot actually allows scripting and allows incrementing. Wait a second, is that true? Okay, so Nightbot. Where's scripting stuff? Oh, is it under the integrations? I only have Discord. There's commands. Would it be under commands? Oh, weird. Okay, when I switch away from my channel to go to Nightbot, it doesn't take me back to that. It takes me to Video Producer, which then is nice because that. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's in commands. Okay, let me just open up. Can I? Nightbot. Oh, I actually have you open. Cool. I can open you way up over there. Actually, let's open you over here. Okay, so under commands, custom commands, add commands. So I could have commands, a message, user level, cooldown, alias. I don't think there's anything special in here. Okay. We should rewrite Nightbot in Rust. Yeah, every time I think about doing that, I realize like how much Nightbot actually does behind the scenes, and then it's just too much. Okay, so we did command, there's a command name, and then message. Oh, you can use command variables to make dynamic responses. Oh, there's like an entire thing here. You think they use something like old school IRC scripting? You think they even use MIRC or? I never did much IRC, as in like, I just chatted a little bit every once in a while. Nope, that one. So that's like, I never really did any scripting there, so I'm completely unfamiliar with what that looks like. So I have no idea what to put in to like actually do that. Oh, and I can have it do another command. Okay, so this would show up in chat. So I could do a command like so command would be bang what should we call it? I'm older than you. I never used. So I did use IRC as a once I was in college, I used it a little bit. Definitely not during its like prime. I missed all of that stuff. Maybe like VS Code :W, or just :W, bang :W. Yeah, I'm sure it was fun, but I missed it during that time. So I didn't really even log in or check out IRC until the early 2000s. I was like 10, cutting up on the IRC chat, tuning up with that ASL. Well, we had that on Oh, what was it? It was ICQ, that chat that was then later bought by AOL. The one that went like, uh-oh, whenever you got a message. I remember that. Okay, so what would be a script for this? Do any of you like pull that out? Yeah, those were back. So for those of you who aren't that old, this was back in the days when every single, it was sort of like the browser wars, sort of like the framework wars, like any of that thing. Every company created their own chat program. And there was like, we would be up with like, okay, I've got like my 4 or 5 different chat programs because every, like your friend groups like were split across them. So way before Facebook. Don't forget about CompServe. I don't think I actually had any friends that used CompServe. I was aware of it, but I didn't have any friends that were using it. The Better Owen, hello. How are you doing today? I want to say that ICQ did end up becoming AOL Instant Messenger, but I could be wrong, and I might be getting up my consolidations incorrect. But Stackin, I know you're a Mac person. Did you ever use the chat that was a consolidation chat? It was for Linux and Mac only. It had a parrot, or like I think it was a parrot for a logo. Pidgey? It might have been Pidgey. That sounds really I think that was it. He still streams on so yeah, this one person wrote this like really impressive chat application. It was one of the first chat applications that consolidated them all together into a single one. Pigeon. Yes, that was it. And he still makes it. Oh, it's still to this day. Wow. Yeah. So I remember back when I was a sysadmin, it was like, okay, let's install this. And we used it because it allowed you to do end-to-end encryption over services that didn't offer encryption. That was like the main reason you'd want to use it. So that was an amazing tool. It was great, and he still makes it to this day. Count. Okay, so dollar count. So if I do, Brooks has attempted to save a VS Code document with W count times. Okay, so if I do that, let's do, 5 seconds is the smallest, that everyone can use it. So it's bang :W. So if I save that, you should be able to use it. Let's try it. All right. What's his username? I will see if I can find him. Because I completely forgot his name. PW Grim. Okay, well, that is a user. Wait, is it? It didn't take me to... Oh, it just did a search. This doesn't feel right. RW Grim? Okay, let's try that. Okay, and Pigeon. Okay, well that sounds right. So I will drop that a follow, and I will take that. We'll take a look into that later. And apparently they have an orange cat. Well, already I love that. Okay, let's turn off that. Okay. All right. Let's try the WQ. Does that work? Have I ever heard somebody say close but no cigar? I have all the time. I once said that to somebody and wait, no, was it that one? I said something like that to somebody and they close only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes. I've also heard that one. Okay, so it's bang colon W. So if I do bang. All right, can someone else try it? Yay, there we go. Okay, it works. Well, thank you for that. Now you can count how many times I've attempted to save it. And just to make it that one, let's there. It's now been twice. Okay. Oh, we need to actually set up async here. So Tokyo main. Make it async. Okay, so now we can do an await on that. We get our pull. We don't have their print line, and I think we're pretty much ready to go. Just twice, of course, just twice. I've never done it, but before now. Clearly. All right, so I've got you set up. Oh, we should go to the documentation for. Let's go to crates for PSQL. No, SQLx. And then from here, we'll be able to go to the functions. We can talk about the functions and what those do. And so we can see like, hey, these are like empty. Don't do them. And then we can go to the macros and then see all these. Although it's probably easier to just go to macros here, and then we see all of these. Okay, and then we can just talk through them really quickly, and then we'll move on to actually doing the CRUD and setting up everything. So, all right. I think we're about ready. What do I have open? Just those two things. We're good to go. Let me turn on the timer. So timer, recording. There we go. And all right. So for those of you who have not seen when I do these recordings, I do take a look. Like I have chat up over here. So if you see me sort of like glancing over, I am taking a look at chat. I am recording this for an actual lesson though. So I'm not going to acknowledge chat, if that makes any sense. I will, however, if it's something that I can integrate in, I will attempt to. So if it's like a question about it, I'll see if I can work that in. Otherwise, I'll get to it at the end of the lesson. I don't know how long this is going to take. We have to go over the objectives for this are going to be to discuss the different methods and macros to that we can use, which there's a lot of these, and then setting up our database so we can like save stuff to it. I'll probably do like the games again. So if you want any game suggestions, you can throw those into chat, and then CRUD. So basic CRUD for it. So that's and then we'll see if I can remember the SQL from this morning, because we wrote it just this morning and I haven't touched SQL since then today. So that's we'll see how that goes. So with that, let's oh, I need to turn off all these other things. So turn off alerts. That. Okay, we've got mic, desktop, and the camera. Perfect. So we are ready to go. Let's do this. Hello, in this lesson, we're going to talk about SQLx and CRUD, specifically CRUDing, so create, read, update, and deleting data into our Postgres database with SQLx. So here I am in the documentation for SQLx, and there's actually several different functions and macros that we can choose to use for it. So which is the best one to go with? So if you go over here and we take a look at our functions, we'll see, okay, we got query, query as. Let's open up one of these. And you'll notice that there's hardly any documentation here. This should be an early indicator that they don't really want us to use these functions directly. Basically, they do the same thing that the macros do, but they're doing them all at runtime. They're not sort of like doing some of the checks that we want to do. Basically, they don't want us to use these. So I'm not going to cover using them in this lesson, but their general usage is about the same as the macros. There's just like slight differences, but you'll be able to figure them out really quickly once you start using them. Let's go take a look at the macros. So over here, macros, we have quite a bunch of these. And we can actually see if we click into one of them, there's tons of documentation of how to use them. So this is the correct place to go. So we see three different sort of like groupings of them. We have like the query, query as, and let's see, query scalar. So like we have those three, and then we see them repeated over again with unchecked, and then file, and then of course file unchecked, sort of combined together. So query, the query ones are all about just make the query, and then whatever you get returned out, it's going to create an anonymous struct that has the data of whatever is returned out on it. That makes it a little bit tough to predict exactly what that is and then write things to sort of work with it. So generally speaking, I like to use query whenever we're not getting anything back from the database or whenever we just don't really care about what that is. Query as, however, allows us to pass in a type. That type, it's going to take whatever is returning out and then try to coerce it into that type and then return that. This is what we're going to use like most of the time, because usually like, oh, I want to get something from the database. Yeah, I want to get like, a game from the database. Well, that's, as long as we have the type that matches the columns, it's going to put it into that type correctly. And then we have scalar. Scalar is just a single column of things. So if you ever have like one column that you want and just one column, scalar is it. And scalar comes from a math term. You see this in game dev a lot. It's just like literally a single thing. All right, then we have unchecked, which basically is don't check the input or the output types. It's not going to like do any type checking for us. We can do some shenanigans. And of course, if we're wrong, it will then fail at compile time. So we can't actually just force things to work that wouldn't work in a database. It doesn't really work that way, but it allows us to move forward with that. Okay, so then we have, let's see, file. The file ones allows us to write our SQL queries in a file, and then it's going to load that at compile time into the code and then check it. Usually we only need to use something like a file in the case of a really complex SQL query that is like usually multiple lines. You don't want it in the code for some reason or not. For this lesson here, we're not really going to do anything. We're not going to do anything specific like that. We're not going to do anything big. So we're just going to keep it all straight in the code. And then was there one more in here? Let's see, we have the file, we have the queries, we have the scalar. And then of course you have like the combination of them all. But we're pretty much just going to stay with these two, query and query as today. So that's these are the ones of what we want to do. If we go inside, there's also methods. We'll get into these as I actually run the queries for like, okay, what do we want to get back out of it? So we'll come back to this a little bit later. Now, I was thinking we're going to create a games locker type thing, like something to store some games in as a little example. So I have a database up and running inside of Docker. So I figure we can connect into that. We'll create a table and prepare ourselves for doing some CRUD actions. So let's do a Docker exec. We're going to do IT for interactive and connect to the TTY. Okay, Postgres dev is the name of my container that's running. I want to run PSQL, the command, use the username Postgres, and I want to connect to the database SQLx tutorial. And that drops me in here. Now I have no databases I have a database. I have no tables right now. So let's go ahead and create one. We're going to do a create table games. And then what columns do I want? Well, I want an ID, which is going to be a serial. So it's just auto increments. I want this to be the primary key. That's also automatically to make it a not null. I want a name of the game, so we'll do name. And then this will be a varchar. And we'll just say 255, the maximum amount that can be. And let's go ahead and say like this is not null. So that cannot be nullable. And then finally, let's throw something in there that's nullable to sort of show how that works. And that would be, let's see, the platform. So platform, this will be a varchar 255. And I will make this, right, I don't want to put not null or something. That goes that. We close you off. And there we go. We've got our database. We can inspect that with /ds games. And there we go. Okay, that looks exactly right. So let's go ahead and come back. Now I've got the connection. I got a connection already going to the database here. So all we have to do is start basically writing queries for this. Okay, let's actually create a models first, because I like to start with a model of the database in a struct form because I think that makes things a little bit simpler for myself. So I'm going to create a models.rs file, and I'm going to do a insert mod. Let's do, I think I can get away with just mod models. That updates main and adds the models in for me. I'm going to do a pub struct game, and we're going to have that ID, which is going to be an I32, but I want to make this an option. The reason I want to make this an option, let's also make this public, is because when I create a new game before I've like put it into the database, I don't know what the ID is yet. So this is just a personal preference in the way my brain sort of works with it, and the way I like to pass things around in my code base. I'm gonna do an option and an I32. We also have that name, so pub name. That's going to be a string. I'm always going to have a string at some point in time, and then a pub platform. I could do something like an enum or something else, but just to make things simple, this is going to have to be an option string. This has to be because we've made that platform optional in the database, which means that it now has to be optional here. And then let's derive. So I don't actually have to derive anything on here for it to work with SQLx, but I like to derive debug and copy. No, not copy, clone. Okay, so we've got that going for us. let's go ahead. We're going to start with an insert. So let's actually create the game we're going to insert first. So let's do a game equals game. And we have ID, that's going to be a none. For the name, I want this. So this is not like an option or anything. We can put that in there. I've been playing Starfield a lot. So, well, maybe a lot is a little bit of an exaggeration, but I've been playing Starfield recently, so we're going to put that in here. And then for the platform, we're going to put it on Steam. But this is an option, which means I need to put this inside of a sum. Okay. There we go. So we have our game. Now, I want to insert this database. I don't like to do all my queries just inside of here, even though we're doing a lot of stuff in main and this sort of example. Let's sort of like start practicing breaking these out. I like to create a queries file specifically for each like different thing that's going to the database. So I'm going to create a new file in here, and this is going to be queries.rs. And I can go ahead and insert mod queries, and we're going to save you. All right, first up, insert. So we're going to do a pub async function insert. So we know we're going to need the pool to have the connection to do the insert. So let's just go ahead and grab that. The pool is going to end up being a pool with a Postgres inside of that. We also know we need to have a game. So we're going to take in a game, which is going to be that model game. Now, I have an error handling library that I've already installed. I prefer to use error for this, but any error handling library will work just as well. Something like anyhow is perfectly fine too. So I'm going to return a error result, and we're going to return that game. We're going to return that game that we put in. All right, so what do we want to do for this? I'm thinking that I actually want to, once I insert it, get the ID of the game back, put it inside of this game, and then return that. So let's make this mutable. And at the very end of this, I'm just going to start with return the game. Well, that's going to make this just work right away. But kind of not doing the right thing, is it? So, all right, let's get to it. We're going to do a let. Now the result of this is going to be the ID coming back, but Postgres doesn't really return just the ID. It returns this like sort of object that has the ID in it. So let's just say that this is the like insert result. I'm just going to call that result equals, we're going to use SQLx. Let's use the query macro because again, I don't have a specific type that we're going to return as. So therefore query where it has a sort of anonymous type that's created right in the spot for us, that's what we want to use. And then we're going to have the SQL statement that we're going to run. So I want to do insert into game, insert into games. And then we don't insert ID that has a default. So we're going to do a name and a platform, and then values, and then parentheses, and then semicolon. So I want $1 for the name and then $2 for the platform. So let's make this a little bit nicer to read. So down here, we're going to put, well, the type they're going in. So that first one, $1 is, well, that's the name. Well, we have that, game.name. Now, this is a string, and I kind of want this game to be in existence still. So we need to clone this. Game.name.clone. And then for the platform, we want to do the same thing. So game dot platform dot. I'm actually curious. Can it get away with? It's not going to give ownership for the. Oh, it doesn't give ownership for the string itself. Excellent. Okay. Now you're upset, although might not be actually checking the errors yet because we have other errors that are in the queue for Rust Analyzer. So I want to, now I have some choices here. If I do, and this brings us back to what I was talking about, the methods that we can call. If I do execute, it's going to return nothing back. Well, I do want, I want the ID back. I need to do returning ID. So 0 or 1, that'd be fetch optional, exactly 1. So I want fetch 1. I want exactly one thing back. So we're going to do fetch 1. So fetch 1, it wants the executor, which is going to be that pool. It's an async, so we're going to await this. And then I can just question mark that because, well, we have that result here. And what are you upset about? Consider borrowing. Oh, I don't actually want to take ownership of the pool here, so we're going to say that that's a reference. All right, so this should work as long as I've written the SQL statement correctly. Now notice that we're getting this type record back, which is a little bit hard to sort of like see inside of it and know what is in there, but it figures it out at compile time, which means it should tell Rust Analyzer exactly what this is. So we should be able to, at this point in time, say game.id is going to be equal to some result dot, there it is, an ID inside of it. And then we're going to return that game here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and I'll open up main over to the right so we can see this over here kind of. And down here after the game, let's go ahead and just debug out what this game is. So we can see the ID that it's been given. All right, everything's saved. Now, every time we run this code, it's going to do the insert. So usually we'd be like getting the data in from like some kind of front end that's going to hit the back end and give us the data. But in this case, we're just sort of like hard coding it. That's fine. It's good enough for the example of how this works. Actually, I haven't actually done the insert, have I? Let's go ahead. We're going to shadow the game. So we're going to do a let game equals, I want to go to queries, insert, and a reference to the pool, hand it the game. We await. Let's expect error inserting game. And semicolon. Okay, now I'm inserting the game. I noticed that this was telling me that I wasn't using it. So that was like a hint that, ooh, we're not going to work out very well. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this in our terminal. I'm going to quit out of here, and we're going to say cargo run. We'll compile our code, and then it should just run once, and then show us the ID of the game. And there we go. We have Starfield in the database. The platform is some Steam, and the game is some 1. All right, so we have game number 1. Let's go ahead and add a second game now, because when we get to the read all part, we're going to want more than one thing in to sort of like show off. So let's update this. What's like another game that we can use? We can use Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3. So if I save you and we'll run you again. And there we go. Okay, we've added that in. It's ID 2. Perfect. I am going to go ahead and comment these. I'm going to comment everything out. So that way we stop inserting them whenever I run this code. Next up, get 1. So let's open up. Let's put that over to the side. and we're going to create a get one here. I'm also going to tell this not to yell at me with a warning. So we're just going to allow dead code. All right. We're going to have a pub async function get one. We know we're going to need that pool. So we need a pool. And then if I want to get one thing, I want to get the ID, by ID usually. So we'll take an ID, which is going to be an I32. And we're going to turn a result with a game inside. All right, so this time I want to use that query as, because I want a very specific thing out of the database. I'm going to do let our game, it's going to be equal to SQLx. Let's do the query as macro. And now we have to pass in at least two things to this. The first one is going to be the type. What is the model that this is going to turn into? Well, we know that it's going to be this game. Then the second thing is going to be the SQL statement itself. So we want select star from games where, let's do this, from games where. Now, SQL doesn't really care if it's all capitalized or not. You can do it lowercase, but I think it's helpful, especially when I'm, recording it as a lesson here to sort of like see which part is SQL and which part is the actual like variables or the name of the table. Where ID is equal to $1. And since it's a number, I don't need quotes. So semicolon. So that should be one that we're getting back out. And then for the third thing, I need that $1. So that's going to be the ID. All right. So then I want to fetch. Well, we want one and exactly one thing. So I want to do fetch one. We give it the pool. And we await. And I question mark here. And now I have a game coming back out. So that's the power of the query as for us. So now that I have that game, I can just return OK and the game. All right, well, that's pretty simple. Let's head back over to main now. And we're going to, let's see, let's grab it out here. So do let game equals queries get one. We handed that pool and then the ID. Well, we know we have 1 and 2 in there. Let's go ahead and get 1 out. We know that's going to be the Starfield game. So we're going to await, and then we can expect error getting game. Okay, so we have our game, and let's go ahead and we'll debug that game out. Everything I think is good. Let's go ahead and run this. And there we go. We have our game, ID 1, we have Starfield, and it has the platform Steam. All right, so perfect. We have a get one game. The other R in CRUD is for get all. So that'll be the next thing. Let's go ahead and comment these all out again. All right, so pub async function get all. We know the drill. It's going to be the pool. Now, in this case, we just want to get everything, so we're not going to pass in anything else. We're going to return a result, and this time it's going to be a vec of game. Okay, so we'll let our games equals. We'll do SQLx. Again, this will be query as, because we know exactly what type we want to get out. So let's do a query as, bang. Now, interestingly enough, we don't pass it in a vec of game here. We just pass it in the type of each row that it is. So it's just, once again, it's just game. And then we have a query statement. So we want select star from games. And that's it. And then nothing else. So we're going to fetch all this time because we want everything. Pass it in the pool. we await, and question mark. And that gives us a vec of game there. And then we can now return an OK of games. Just to keep this warning from going away, let's go ahead and put a dead code on here. Okay, and back to main. Let's get all the games. So we're going to do let games equals, okay, so we're going to do queries, get all, pass it in the pool. We don't need anything else there. We're going to await, and then again, an expect, where we say error getting all games. Okay, and then finally, let's debug out all the games. All right, I think we're good. So let's go ahead and run this. And here we go. We have our vector of all the games. Perfect. All right, so that's a CR in CRUD. Next up is update. Let's go ahead and comment you out. Now, how would I necessarily prove that we're going to update a game? I'm thinking we can get one of the existing games, we'll make a change to it, and then resave it and sort of a get it again and make sure that it's been changed. So let's go ahead and we'll get this one game. So let's get game with ID 1. And then we'll make some change to it, and then we'll send that into a function to, well, make it, make the change. So let's make this mutable coming back. I want to down here, let's do that. We're going to do game dot, okay, so we have Starfield. Let's say we didn't actually mean that it was Starfield. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was like another space-based game. Maybe it was EVE Online. So we'll do game dot name is actually EVE Online owned. And now I'm going to want to call an update. So we want to update it, and then I'm going to want to get it again. So I'll do that in a little bit. Let's write our update first. All right, pub async function update. We're going to take in that pool, and then we're going to take in a game. Take in a game. And this is going to be a full game. We could take ownership of this, or we can just take a reference to it. I don't know if it matters that much. In this case, I'll just take ownership of it. And we will return a result, but I don't really need to return anything in here. I could return like the number of lines that were updated, but in this case, I think we can sort of like trust that things would happen. Usually if I'm running an API, I'm not going to tell the client if anything successfully happened or not. I'm just sort of going to let them, have to do another request potentially. So we're just gonna let them guess. So we're gonna go ahead and return that. Now query. So we can just do a SQLx. Now because we don't care about the return, we can just use query, which means we don't have a type at the beginning. We just write our SQL code in here, and we're gonna do update. So update, and I believe it's the name of the table. So update games, we want to set, and then I think it's parentheses. Oh wait, no, I think there's no parentheses. I think it's just the columns, then equals, and then we set that. So we're gonna do Name is going to be equal to $1. Let's make this an atomic update. So I'm going to update everything regardless if it's been updated or not. So name equals that. Now I could like dynamically create this this string based upon whether or not some of them have changed, but I don't have like a builder pattern to do that. But that's certainly something that could be done. But that's out of scope for this lesson. All right, so name equals that, and platform is going to equal to $2. Then, okay, so we want to do a where statement, because if we forget the where statement, everything changes and everything becomes EVE Online, which is probably not what you want to have happen in a database. So where ID is equal to $3. Okay. Now, name. So that's going to be the game.name. We have the game.platform, and then we have the game.id. Okay, we are going to execute this time because we don't care. We don't want anything coming back. We don't care. It could just be none for all we're concerned. That's going to be the execute. So we give it the pool, and we await and question mark that. And we're good. So as long as that SQL query is exactly what we think it's going to do, it'll do it. And it should yell at us if this is incorrect. So if I did something wrong, like let's say we put parentheses around these, and let's see if that causes it to yell at us. Yeah, take a look at this. Error returned from the database, syntax error at or near equals. So it doesn't like these parentheses. It's actually checking the code. Well, Rust Analyzer itself is checking the code to make sure that it's, well, going to work. So I am now very confident that this is correct syntax. Let's go back. Okay, I saved, right? Yep. Let's go back to here. We'll update and pass it in this game. So we're going to do a queries update, pass in reference to the pool, pass it in that game. We'll await and expect error updating game. And then let's go ahead and get the game back. So we're going to grab this game again here. You don't need to be mutable. I'm okay with shadowing this because we've essentially just given the game to here, so we don't have the game anymore anyways. Queries get one pull. I want ID of 1, which is what we're updating. And that we should debug this out, and we should see that it's no longer a star field. It should now be EVE Online. Let's check this. Hey, and there we go. Game 1 in the database is now EVE Online. Perfect. So that is update. There is one more, and that's delete. Let's go ahead and we'll comment all these out so they stop happening. And I'll go ahead and put an allow dead code on update. All right, delete. So do a pub async function delete. We're going to take in that pool, and then we want to make sure that we're deleting something by the ID. Otherwise we're deleting everything in the database. So delete by ID. And again, I'm just going to turn a result with nothing in it. Same as update. All right, so we can start with that return right away. And we're going to do a SQLx, just a query again. We're going to do delete from games where, again, really important to have that where in there. Otherwise, everything selects and everything is gone from the database. Delete from games where ID is equal to $1, and we'll pass in that ID. We will execute because I don't care about the end result. We'll hand it the pool and await and question mark you. All right, we're good to go, and we can be confident that this is the syntax is correct. And so then let's decide to get. We'll delete. Let's delete game number 1. So let's do. Now we have the queries where we can get all here with games. I'm going to uncomment that, and then before here, let's do queries, delete, hand the pool. Let's delete. We have 1. Okay, let's delete 1. So we're not playing EVE Online. And we await and we expect error deleting game. Okay, we don't care about the return value. We get the games, and then let's go ahead and debug out all the games. So we should now have 1 game in our list. So if we run this, there we go. We actually only have 1 game in our list. And that's it. That's the basics of CRUD in SQLx. So we're able to connect into our database. We're able to choose which query macros we want to use. Pretty much here, it's just between the query on its own, if we don't really care that much, or we don't really want to create a specialized struct for the return value, or it's the query as if we want it to become one of our models. And then we just write the queries, pass in the appropriate data, and run them, and then it just works. So I mean that's all that it really is for SQLx. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello. Let's see. So I saw we got a raid from Don't Panic. That was 30 minutes ago. Sorry about that, Don't Panic. But I think I started recording right before then. So sorry I wasn't able to respond to that. Let's see, what did I miss? So let's see. Stacking, you want a way to feed the cat before she breaks every glass we own in the house. That is, yeah, that happens so often. Don't panic, you rated. And is covariant over T? I think I missed the timing on that joke, sorry. Let's see, and then Insomnia, hello. Is it possible to insert a vec of game as well? Yeah, so because it's just normal SQL that we have to write for this, we have to just figure out how do you write like a multiple insert thing? And generally speaking, the syntax of it is pretty simple. So if we look at insert here, let's create like an insert alt. So we'll do a pub async function inserts many. We'll take in the pool and we'll take in games. We could, I think, even have like a mute games and do the same thing. So games, and that's going to be a vec of game. We're going to turn a result of game. That was a pretty long lesson. Yeah. Well, I told you I thought it was going to be about half an hour. And I don't know. I think it was a little bit longer than that. I think as we get into more complex stuff, they get longer. The thing that I'm worried about is that I'm talking too fast. And so if somebody who's trying to learn might need to okay, let me pause and go back. Let me go back and let me go back. Oh, I can turn off that recording message. Disable that. Okay, if I want to create many games here, so well, we can start. We can use like format to sort of pull together and create the statement. So we know that it's going to be something like the beginnings. Let's do a pub. Now I probably could create like a struct that like builds a query together, and then like sort of adds things to it that might work out. Like if I want to just do it all together here though, we can say like not pub. I want let mute our query is going to be equal to, just to be consistent, let's do insert query. Insert query. So that way we're not like too close to the macro name. Equals, and we're going to start with, I could also be doing a batch job and just run a loop, then end the batch to mass insert. Oh yeah, I keep on forgetting that like you could do batch jobs with databases, and I usually just like create one giant statement that does it all at the same time. With a batch job, if there's an error in them, will it auto unwind and then undo them all at the same time? It will, right? Because it's all part of the same context, or it's all part of the same transaction. I know that if there's like a problem in a single statement, it will undo. Yeah, if you do a transaction. Okay. Do I have to manually do a transaction? Let's do both. So if I want to do insert query for both, we'll do like a, you're taking a CS class and you feel that we at Galvanize did a better job in teaching programming. We so it might surprise you to find out that we kind of went rogue. Did you just ask if it to manually do it while writing raw SQL? Yeah. No, I was actually wondering if there was like a method in PSQLx, but thinking more on it, there probably isn't, right? Like there's they don't really give us much. It's just SQL, isn't it? We can take a look. How did we go rogue? So we wrote our own LMS. We didn't use the official LMS. We wrote our own curriculum. We didn't use the official Galvanize curriculum. We went and interviewed companies and found out what they wanted, like out of graduates, and we customized curriculum for students for that. And it ended up going really well. We liked it a lot, but it's one of those things where like we discovered you can't scale proper education because of that customization thing. And also you need like it's a community type thing too. Okay, so insert query. So we're gonna do insert into games, and then we'll do name, platform, values, and then it's gonna be is it one parenthesis? I think it's a parenthesis for each row, right? It's a parenthesis for each row. So, okay, we do that. So there's like the beginning of the string. And if I wanted to create like a mega string for this, then we would loop over the games, and I want to I could create a vector of this, can I? I probably want to create a map. Oh, I want to map that then. So that like the values equals oh, and I could append to this. That would work too. I could just append. Yeah, I'm just gonna build it up. I'm just gonna do one of those like challenge type things that you see on like one of the online sites. Is like build up this like this string based upon like all these other things. It's like, okay, well, just gonna make it really simple, and that's the simplest way to do it. So if I make this mutable and I make this a string, I could append to this. And then I think we could, so I could just loop over games. In real world, you wouldn't suggest this. Yeah, the transact one is probably the best one to do. So this works. I've actually done this in like quick and dirty scripts, and it gets the job done. So I guess we could just do for game in games. And then we have that. I want to append to you. So I want to insert query. Is there an append, or do I have to do like there's something I could do, right? Or is it like plus equals? I don't remember anymore what I could do for this. There's something I could do for that. And then that would be essentially format. Or is it concatenate? Push string. Right, it's push string. Oh, I could push string. Yeah, push. Well, I probably want to push. That pushes a character. Yeah, push stir. You can do a format. That's going to be a reference. So then this is going to be, okay, so like open close parentheses, and then we're going to have essentially, now I don't want to put the actual things as, do I? Every language has its own way and no language uses the same one twice. That's so true. I don't want to actually pull the thing in, right? This is going to be $1, $2. Oh, so like that's actually interesting. Ooh, so actually it's gonna be different than this, isn't it? Because I need this number to go up each time. So yeah, I think I'm with stacking. Like I don't like for something like in code, this is actually a lot easier to do. Like I do this method when I'm using like connects and JavaScript. But it's not actually writing SQL. That's just saying, and I think that does transact into its own thing on its own behind the scenes, where I just say like insert this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing, and I'm just appending a call to a function where I'm adding the next thing in to be done. But this is not gonna. If I do this, it's not gonna parameterize. Like if I actually just put the thing in here, it's not going to parameterize it properly. It's going to actually put it into the raw SQL, which means I'm open up to a SQL injection attack. So no, not let's not do that. So let's now try to do a transact system. Let's go see if they have a transaction thing as part of this. They have a query builder. A builder type for constructing queries at runtime. See push values, for example, building a bulk insert statement. However, with Postgres, you can get much better performance by using arrays and unnest. Well, I was just realizing that if I wanted to add it to the macro at end, I need to keep track of all the different variables and then just add them in one at a time afterwards. And I was still not thinking in terms of like raw SQL. I was thinking of something else. I think something more like this. Okay, how can I bind an array to a values class? How can I do bulk inserts? Like the above, SQLx currently does not support this in a general case right now, but it will in the future. However, Postgres also has a feature to save the day here. You can pass an array to unnest, and it will treat it as a temporary table. Unnest can also take more than one array, in which case it'll treat each array as a column in that temporary table. Huh. This solution currently requires each column to be its own vector. In the future, we're aiming to allow binding iterators directly as arrays, so you can take a vector of structs and bind iterators mapping to each field. You're starting to remember why you use diesel now. I mean, if you don't have that many things to insert, you could just insert them one at a time, but like a transact is probably a better way to go, but it sounds like this might be a way to do it too. So insert into foo columns, and then select star from unnest. I want to say, okay, so Postgres. '16 current unnest. So this is actually a thing in Postgres. I'm fairly certain. Array functions and operators. Unnest expands an array into a set of rows. The array's elements are read out in storage order. So we have 1 and 2. Okay. Now, this is going to be, so like 1 text, 2. Notice the colon, that's a Postgres type that we're passing in here. Interesting. Okay. I want to try this. Let's try this. Let's also get out of VS Code for this. We don't need to be in VS Code anymore. So I'll leave that partially done. X out of view. I could do like another lesson after this on bulk inserts, because this seems like it would be pretty. I want to do like a lesson of bulk inserts. I want to do a lesson on joints. Like those two things I think are going to, like, extra attention needs to be focused directly on them. So exploration time. All right, so you come back. All right, so we're here with you. We're not here with you? All right, we are here with you. Okay, let's go. We have our queries. All right, so here's your broken one. Let's not do that. Okay, so I have a vector of games. So we want to do, now this is a vec of string. This is like the problem that I have with most documentation. It's like an oversimplified model of this thing. Okay, this solution currently requires each column to be its own vector. In the future, we're aiming to binding arrays directly as arrays. So this kind of sucks. So we're gonna have to create a vector of each column to break it out. So if I have, oh boy. All right, so we have multiple games coming in. I need to now create multiple vectors for each game. This reminds me of ECS stuff. So we're going to do let names equals, so games will iter map of a game, and I want game.name. And that should be fine. And then we're going to collect you into a vec of string. String. Okay. Let's throw a to-do in here. Okay. I guess I can clone you. That'll be fine. Okay, so we have names, and then we're going to do let The only other thing, so it's only two things in here, so that's fine. So that's gonna be platforms equals games dot iter map the game, and we're gonna do game dot platform, and we'll clone you out too. Looks like Postgres suggests 3 ways of doing this, and 2 you never heard of. They suggest copy, unnest, and then, of course, transaction. We should probably look at all 3 methods of doing that. I've heard of transaction, and I've never done a manual transaction myself because I always use tools that just do it for me. I haven't heard like the 2. I've also not heard of copy, so that'll be interesting to look into. Okay, so platform. So we have these 2 together. So now we can do our insert, and then we're going to unnest. Interesting. So you unnest 1, so all the 1 column in here, all the second column in here. It absolutely is kind of like an ECS system, but also absolutely not at the same time. So let's do our return results. So our results. So this is really going to be our IDs. Going to be equal to. We'll do a query. We will do insert into games. We want name and platform. Values. And so the values, this is where it gets weird. Oh, we don't do values. We do then just immediate select from. So we do select star from, and then it's parentheses in here. Oh, no, then it's unnest. So then it's the unnest function. And inside of here, we put things that match this name and platform. So we want the names first. This is going to be $1. Now the type is going to be an array of, can I do varchar 255? Okay, so there's that, and it's an array. And then $2 is also going to be a varchar 255 and an array. And then your types are going to be names and platforms, which I forgot to collect this. So it's a vec of string. Okay, and then you're unhappy. Why? You're unhappy. Nope, that's not right. Go to that. Value type string cannot be built over an iterator. So iterator map. What did I do wrong? Collect vec. Why did the other one work? What did I do differently? We have games, iter. I didn't take ownership either time. Map. Game platform, clone. Oh, because it's an option string. Options again. Thank you. There we go. Now you're happy. Okay. You're unhappy though. Expected a reference to string found. Okay, so you need to be a reference. Interesting. So expected. Because because I'm telling it that this is an absolutely is going to be a varchar, meaning that it cannot be none here. It cannot be none. So I have some choices to make here. There's no option type as far as I know in SQL. So either I make it something, like I unwrap it, or we change this from a query to a query unchecked. And now that makes it happy. So we're going to, now I want to fetch many probably. Oh, I want a returning. Returning. Yeah, at least we are finding a use for all those macros now. A returning ID. Let's fetch all, give it the pool, await, question mark. I have a vec of record, so I can now I never took ownership of the games here. So I still actually have these games. So it's going to be, I should get back an equal number of the games back to here. We can actually do an assert if we wanted to like assert that, but well, we can YOLO this. So we're going to for ID in IDs. We have that record, and I want to enumerate this too. So dot iter dot enumerate, which means maps around that, and we have this is gonna be the index, and we have you. Okay, so I want to index into games, so we're going to do games of index dot ID is going to be equal to a sum ID dot ID, like that. We loop through you, that should be fine, and then we're going to return an OK games. Why am I returning one game? It should be a vec of game. Okay. This should insert many all at once. It's not fun. It's a thing. All right, so let's go find main. Why do I have models game in here? Oh, because I was creating this. Can I like? Sure, this is a bulk insert. No, we need you both. Okay, so here's one game. And I want to make two of you. So we have game two. So let's do, we deleted you, so that's fine. We'll go back to, nope, I want change. We'll go back to Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3. We're now going to do the bulk insert. So that the bulk insert, I guess it will just do games. Games equals queries, insert many, handed a reference to the pool and the vec of game and game two. we'll await and expect. So error bulk inserting games. Let's not delete anymore. Let's not get all those. And then we'll debug out the games. Okay. I think we're good. So if I run you now, so cargo run. There it works. Okay. I was actually like expecting me to have screwed that up somehow. But all right. That is one of the ways of doing an insert. Oh boy. Okay, so let's how do I wanna do this? We heard that shock in my voice. I know. I was like, I was kind of expecting at least like one error like in SQL to come out. It's a really cool system. I'm not sure I like it, but we'll have to try the other ones first. So first try indeed, yeah. I don't actually get first tries that often. So let's move this to uploading for me. And then I need to rename that file before I forget. So that was what was that? That was SQLx CRUD. Okay, and then let's see out here, and let's dump. What do I have? Okay, let's copy our template into. I guess we'll put it into one planning, and then we'll work on this tomorrow. So we have SQLx bulk inserts .md, and then what do I have in one planning? I have SQLx migrations and seeds, and that's that. Okay, so I want to do copy template to one planning. We're gonna do SQLx joins. So like join queries. Queries.md. Okay. So that'll be fun. All right. So I kind of want to keep this on the left so I can reference it tomorrow. So let's right here. Let's remove that to delete. That way this doesn't go away overnight. Zippy's back here. So let's see. The other one. Let's go find the documentation for the other one. I just want to like take a really quick peek at it to see what we're in for tomorrow morning. You said that there was a copy, right? It was copy, unnest, and transact. Is there they have a copy in here? Again, even with comma expanded lists in the future, this will likely be the most performant way to run bulk inserts with Postgres, at least until we get around to implementing an interface for copy from standard in. Though the solution with unnest will still be more flexible, you can use it in queries that are more complex than just inserting into a table. Interesting. So it's actually, they're claiming that this is faster than copy, whatever copy is. Okay, let's find in here. Is like copy one of these functions? No. bulk insert. Is this what the search you did, stacking? Inserting data. When inserting a lot of data at the same time, consider using the copy command. It is not as flexible as the insert command, but is more efficient. Refer to section 14.4. Okay, so 14.4. Use copy. Use copy to load all the rows in one command instead of using a series of insert commands. Cheddar, you see Zilby? Yeah, he's here. To tell you the truth, we never even benchmarked or looked at the other bulk inserts. You're adding this for things on Monday. Oh, is that for your teams to look at? It is funny how like we just go for the things that we know, and like that's the first thing we do. And it's like, okay, well, is there like a newfound way, or in this case, have there always been old ways, but we just learned one way and then we just never looked at another possible way to do stuff? One of the reasons that it's really awesome to stream with you all, because we've all had that one, like, this is the way I've always done it. And then we just collate them all together and it's like, okay, cool. There's like 5 different ways to do this. Or in this case, there's 4 ways to insert things into the database. Okay, the copy command is optimized for loading large number of rows. It is less flexible than insert, but incurs significantly less overhead for large data loads. Since copy is a single command, there is no need to disable auto commit if you use this method to populate a table. If you cannot use copy, it might help to use prepare to create a prepared insert statement and then use execute as many times as required. This avoids some of the overhead. Interesting. Note that loading a large number of rows using copy is, so that's a new thing. Prepare and execute. Note that loading a large number of rows using copy is almost always faster than using insert, even if prepare is used and multiple insertions are batched into a single transaction. Copy is fastest when used within the same transaction as an earlier create table. Oh yeah, so like basically copy is used like if you're creating the table and seeding at the same time, copy is the fastest. So if you have like a terabyte of data to put into the database, do it at the same time as a create table using copy. That's what they're saying. I don't even know what a wall is. Okay, but this is just use copy. Okay, so copy. Copy data between a file and a table. Okay. Can I copy? Wait a second. Is this a file from... Ooh, moves between this. Wait. So is SQLx telling me that copy is not an option? There's copy from... Okay, so copy... If a column listed, okay, so copy from, so standard in, can I copy from another? Is this always standard in or a file? Because in that case, I think what they're trying to say in the documentation is that it is impossible to use copy from with SQLx right now. So the following example copies a table to the client using a vertical bar as the field delimiter. Okay, but oh, this copy to standard out. Wait a second. Okay. That's not creating it. That's exporting it essentially. So that would be me doing something like Docker exec. Let's connect in. if I do copy, so it's going to copy, is it games to standard out. I'm not getting any tab autocomplete, which is a little bit delimiter, a little bit concerning. And let's do the pipe example. But it worked. So that's a way. That is a way to extract out instead of just doing a normal dump. Interesting. Okay. Copy country to program gzip. So here's basically, you could just write your own dump program to dump things out. Okay, but there's a copy from either standard input or a copy from a file that then goes in. They talk about bulk insert, then go on another tangent. Of course they do. This is like the big problem with documentation, is that it's either this like flowing long thing that then they go on tangents, or it's like it's very rarely exactly what you want, exactly when you want it. Okay, so let's I'm just gonna ask find. Hey, find pair programmer. Wait, is this only? Okay, cool. So I have a Postgres database with a games table that has an ID, name, and platform. The ID is type serial, and the name and platform types are varchar 255. I want to do a bulk insert using copy. Can you help me write the SQL? Okay, so this imports from a CSV file. Okay, so that's what I sort of figured. It's going to be a file. I think there is a copy from, so they basically mentioned here, they don't yet have a copy from standard in, which would allow them to create a CSV. We could create a CSV at runtime and then hand it to that, and it will then do that at runtime. It's not going to work. So in order to use copy, I would need to, like programmatically here, I would need to create, like turn, like use Serde to turn the data into a CSV, save it to disk, figure out where the file is, and then run this command with SQL, which is not what we want to do. So this is not really available to us. Not yet, at least. So I think the other things, though, okay, so it's like, okay, thanks. I'd rather try the What was the other one? There was another one that sounded really interesting, which was it part of this? No, it was prepare. I want to use the prepare. So prepare statement function, function, and then call multiple inserts with a single transaction. Let's see about that. But it kind of makes sense because it's kind of alluding, like the entire thing is Postgres is alluding to a file from copy, except all the documentation is copying out. But I bet we could create a file. Oh, that I have to do it from outside. Oh, but I'm inside. Okay, so hold on. We need to docker exec. I need to bin no, I need a bin bash this. Where am I? Am I at root? I'm at root. Okay, fine. We're going to create the file here. Of course we are. Do I have VI? I don't have VI. Do I have nano? I have echo. We're going to echo this. We're going to echo to games.csv. Wait, no, I can cat. I'm going to cat to games.csv. Okay, so we have, what is it? It's going to be the name and then the platform, right? So we have game. I wonder if I need quotes. It's like game one, platform, and then return, game two, other platform. Okay, so if I do that, I now have a games. So I can do a PSQL u Postgres the SQLx tutorial. I want to do a copy. New copy from. Let's see if this is right. So, oh, interesting. That did not get that. Interesting. Please note that the copy command can only be used by a super user or a user with a copy privilege. If you're not a super user or you don't have copy privilege, you can use the /copy command instead, which is a wrapper around copy that works for non-super users. Wait. Is that a thing? Like, will we find /copy in here? I did not find /copy in there. Okay, so let's do, I'm pretty sure I'm a super user for this. So we're gonna do copy from, and it's gonna be the path. So the path is games.csv. And then we have delimiter. So delimiter, and that's gonna be, so it's comma, and then CSV header. Specifies that the first row contains, okay, so we don't have a header. So, oh, and then I completely forgot. So copy games. So we want name and platform. So from, it worked. Let's take a look at table of games. Well, would you look at that? Okay, well, another tool in the Postgres SQL tool belt. And it looks like we don't want the quotes in there. So you don't want the quotes in there because it added in the quotes here. So that's good to know. So, okay. All right. Let's quit out of here. Planning, let's helix, bulk inserts. Okay, so under content, let's just like mark what we can use. The different methods that are available to us. So we have unset. Was it unset? It was unnest, right? It was unnest. We have copy, which is only not available yet. So I think I just need to mention, hey, you can't use copy. And then we have, you can use prepare statement to create a prepare statement you can execute multiple times. Here's an example how you do it. So prepare game insert that as insert into game. Okay, then I could just do oh. That's cool. So prepare game insert, do the thing, and then I could just do a single insert command, and then I just execute game insert as many times as I want. That's going to be a loop that I could do to create execute on those things. Can I easily do that? Or am I going to end up with like a weird thing of like $1, $1, $2, $3, $4, and like figuring out all those? That feels like it's going to be really hard. So prepare to insert. Okay, and then okay, now tell me how to do multiple inserts in a single transaction. See if it tells me how to do that. Oh yeah, so you just do begin to start the transaction, and then you do a bunch of inserts and then commit. So prepared insert, and then finally a begin insert. Was it commit transaction? Ooh. So that sounds fun. Now, yeah, so please note if an error occurs, the transaction will be rolled back, which is what we sort of expect. So if there's a problem with like the second one, it's going to not insert the first one, which is usually what you want to have happen. So super interesting. All right. Cool. Well, we're going to look into this on, I believe, Monday morning. So I'm like 99% sure I'm going to keep the morning streams on the schedule, and I'm going to change, I'm thinking about experimenting with changing the evening streams here a little bit earlier, maybe before dinner, which I think I could do and give myself another hour or a half an hour or so of streaming time. I haven't yet like sort of looked at next week's schedule and figured that out. So I'm gonna figure it out on Sunday early afternoon for me. When I do figure that out, I'll update the Twitch schedule, and then I'll also post that on Twitter X Twitter, and also my Discord. So we'll be looking into, so next week we'll be looking into writing this lesson out. I want to finish up, if possible, I want to finish up all the SQLx stuff next week. It might go into the week after that. There's a lot of SQLx things to work on. But my new plan is I think that I can run, like, instead of just the full Axum course, I think we can run like a workshop, like a paid workshop on SQLx, because this looks fun. It looks small. It's completely enclosed. It doesn't matter what sort of backend framework you're working with. We can create a module that just holds all this stuff, and then you just use with whatever thing you're working with. So I think we can provide some value for this. So that's going to be the new plan. I'll have more information about this on Monday. So with that being all said, CM Griffin is streaming. Is is, oh, I forgot his name again already. Oh no, he's not streaming right now. Okay. Okay, well that's too bad. Let's see, what's CM Griffin working on? Well, after I get through the advertisement. Are the SQLx ones on YouTube? I don't know if any of them have made it in. So basically what I've been putting in is just the full YouTube, the full Twitch VODs are going on to YouTube. So all of them are either starting to go on to YouTube now or will be going on to YouTube. But like they're basically just exactly what you have here. I'm not uploading the individual things for public access. All right, what is CM Griffin working on? He's working on a feature flagging for everyone. He's doing some, let's see, open source static file-based feature flags. That sounds interesting. So let's go ahead and set up a raid for CM Griffin. Raid CM Griffin. All right. Feature flag. Did I not say that correctly? I think I mispronounced that. Feature flag. Yes. Feature flag Vexilla. Feature flagging for everyone. Oh, you corrected yourself. Okay. I thought you were correct. I didn't see the thing above you. All right. Anyways, everybody have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all next week. And that's it. Bye.